Welcome to College Briefing. The content of the briefing includes: are you slapping on the recommended 7 teaspoons of sunscreen each day? Where did it all go wrong for Ron DeSantis? China is moving up the rare earth value chain. The West is trying to catch up. Stanford's Tara Vanderveer becomes college basketball's winningest coach ever. Woolworth's decision to shun Australia Day inflames culture war. Are you slapping on the recommended 7 teaspoons of sunscreen each day? ABC. Regular sunscreen use by all Australians could reduce the burden of melanoma by up to 34% by 2031, according to a study by the QIMR Berghofer Medical Research Institute. It's estimated that over 18,000 people were diagnosed with melanoma, the most dangerous form of sun cancer, in Australia last year. The Cancer Council recommends applying sunscreen to all exposed skin 20 minutes before going outside and reapplying every 2 hours, or more frequently if swimming or sweating excessively. The average-sized adult should use around 35 milliliters of sunscreen per application, which is equivalent to about 7 teaspoons. SPF stands for sun protection factor and measures the amount of time it takes for redness to appear on the skin compared to when no sunscreen is used at all. The Cancer Council recommends using sunscreen with an SPF of at least 30 when the sun's UV radiation reaches 3 or higher. The use of aerosol sunscreens is not recommended due to the potential for sunscreen loss in windy conditions. Where did it all go wrong for Ron DeSantis? BBC. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has abandoned his campaign for the 2024 Republican presidential nomination, citing no clear path to victory against frontrunner Donald Trump. DeSantis had been considered a strong contender due to his strong conservative record and his opposition to woke ideology. However, experts say his downfall was largely due to Trump's popularity and name recognition. Trump, who enjoys unwavering support from his followers, was essentially running as an incumbent, with limitless money and a committed base of voters. DeSantis started as a real threat to Trump, with strong poll numbers and momentum after a record re-election victory. However, his campaign was delayed, giving Trump a chance to rebuild his image as a political outsider amid his numerous legal issues. DeSantis also struggled to match Trump's charisma and outsized persona. Ultimately, DeSantis decided to withdraw from the race and endorse Trump before the Iowa and New Hampshire primaries to avoid damaging his standing with Trump's followers. Despite this setback, DeSantis, aged 45, is expected to remain a prominent figure in the Republican Party and may run for president in the future. China is moving up the rare earth value chain. The West is trying to catch up. South China Morning Post. Chinese firm Xinghe Resources' acquisition of Canada's only active rare earth mine highlights China's strategy of importing upstream products from Western countries and then exporting value-added products back to those countries, according to the South China Morning Post. China previously supplied cheap raw materials for the production of high-end clean energy products such as electric vehicles, but it is now seeking to reverse that production flow. Western countries have been trying to reduce their reliance on China for rare earths by developing their own supply chains. China's share of total rare earth exports has dropped from about 90% a decade ago to about 70% in 2022. However, China has been importing more upstream products as a result of an undersupply of raw ores domestically. Xinghe Resources has acquired stakes in rare earth mines in Greenland, Tanzania, and the US. China is also seeking to retain its dominance in downstream processing by banning the export of technologies used to make rare earth permanent magnets. Stanford's Tara Vanderveer becomes college basketball's winningest coach ever. CNN. Tara Vanderveer, the head coach for Stanford University's women's basketball team, now holds the record for the most wins in NCAA basketball history. Vanderveer secured her 1,203rd win when Stanford defeated the Oregon State Beavers on Sunday. The previous record holder was Mike Krzyzewski, the former head coach for Duke University's men's basketball team. Vanderveer has been coaching at Stanford for 38 seasons and has won 3 national titles. She was inducted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame in 2011. Woolworth's decision to shun Australia Day inflames culture war. Financial Times. Australia's largest retailer, Woolworths, has sparked a national debate by refusing to stock Australia Day paraphernalia. The decision has led to calls for a boycott of the company and 2 of its Queensland outlets being vandalised. The dispute has highlighted how companies' stances on social issues are diverging from those of political parties. Some critics argue that Australian companies often adopt a woke vision without a clear social agenda or understanding of possible response scenarios. However, others argue that businesses should respond to shifts in community values. Teach young people self-belief to prepare them for AI job market, says former Education Secretary. Telegraph. Former Education Secretary Baroness Morgan has called for a new curriculum in English schools to teach young people character development opportunities, including self-belief, determination, and resilience. She argues that young people need to be educated in more than just knowledge and technical skills to prepare them for the challenges of the fast-changing economy, such as artificial intelligence and the transition to net zero. The report, which will be published by think tank the Social Market Foundation, also calls for volunteering opportunities for school pupils to be more evenly spread across the country. I'm 24, earn £28,000 and often jet off to glamorous locations. This is how I spend my money. Telegraph. A 24-year-old working in the luxury tour operator industry in London reveals that she is money conscious and tries not to make any purchases without thinking them through. Despite her efforts, her rent and living costs are high, so saving money is currently a fantasy. She moves anything left in her current account to her savings at the end of each month as a reward. During 1 week, she spent £280.37, with the majority of her expenses going towards food and drink. She also had to pay for a laptop repair and bought frames for prints she purchased in Paris. On one occasion, she spent a significant amount of money on expensive drinks at a pub and then treated herself and her boyfriend to a pizza from Pizza Hut. The individual mentions that she has an enormous family and spent a small fortune on them over Christmas, as well as participating in secret Santa groups with friends and colleagues. She also reveals that she has an interest in traveling and languages, and her ultimate goal is to climb the ladder at her current job to become the Mediterranean manager. The surprising northern town where you can earn more, after rent, than in London. Telegraph. A new study by job website Adzuna has shown that Londoners have the lowest take-home pay in the country after paying rent. On average, Londoners are left with only £810 per month, versus Middlesbrough, Sunderland and Bradford, where workers spend less than 25% of their salaries on rent. In Middlesbrough, workers only spend 1/5 of their monthly pay on rent, and the town was the only one in the UK where annual salary growth outpaced annual rent rises. Modi to open Hindu temple Monday in landmark moment before elections. Nikkei Asia. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is due to attend the inauguration of the Ram Mandir Shrine in Ayodhya, a Hindu temple built on a site that was once a flashpoint of Hindu-Muslim conflict. The temple is still under construction on land that was handed to Hindus by India's top court in November 2019. The site was once home to a 16th-century mosque, Babri Masjid, which was demolished by a Hindu mob in 1992, triggering communal riots. Modi's Hindu nationalist Bharatiya Janata Party, BJP, has made building a new temple on the site a key promise of election platforms since the 1990s. Experts say the temple could create a strong tailwind for Modi by tapping into the religious passions of his base. The opening of the temple comes well ahead of its expected completion in December 2025. Each day, at least 100,000 devotees are expected to visit the temple. The consecration is a glamorous affair, with Bollywood celebrities, politicians, industrialists and sports stars among the invitees. Why are young adults leaving the state? And what is Ohio doing to make them stay? Yahoo! The state of Ohio is trying to find ways to keep its college graduates from leaving the state after graduation. According to a 2022 study from the National Bureau of Economic Research, 12% more people leave the state after graduating than stay. So, the state is looking for ways to retain its graduates, including offering financial incentives, such as scholarships, and providing access to high-quality training, education, and services that provide a path to a good career. However, a report from the Ohio Department of Higher Education predicts that there will be a 15% decline in four-year universities in Ohio due to factors like declining birth rates and the economy. This is a trend that is being felt nationwide but will be experienced especially hard in the Midwest. Quieting the lizard. Yahoo! We all have a lizard part of our brain. It's called the amygdala. The amygdala doesn't reason. It's not rational. When the lizard part of the brain is active, the prefrontal cortex goes offline. It's not in control anymore. The lizard part of the mind feeds anger. When activated, the lizard part of the brain encourages me to attack. Cameroon starts world's first malaria vaccine program for children. The Toronto Star. Cameroon will be the first African country to routinely administer a new malaria vaccine to children. The campaign aims to vaccinate 250,000 children this year and next, in a bid to help curb the mosquito-spread disease, which accounts for 95% of the world's malaria deaths. The vaccine, known as Mosquirix, was endorsed by the World Health Organization 2 years ago, despite only being around 30% effective and offering limited protection. The vaccine is produced by GlaxoSmithKline. Another malaria vaccine developed by Oxford University, which was approved by the WHO in October, may be a more practical solution, as it is cheaper and requires fewer doses. Billions of cicadas to emerge in U.S. in rare breeding event. The Independent. Billions of cicadas from two different broods are set to emerge in the U.S. in a synchronized event that last occurred in 1803. The two broods, with 13-year and 17-year cycles, will emerge from the soil to mate for the first time in 221 years. The cicadas are not harmful, but their numbers can be a nuisance. This rare event could also result in the emergence of a new brood as the two broods interbreed. Trillions of cicadas are expected to emerge in 2024. Ryan named to Columbia College Dean's List. Yahoo! Columbia College has released its Dean's List for the fall 2023 semester. To make the list, students must have completed at least 12 credit hours in a 16-week period and achieved a minimum GPA of 3.5. Among those named is Tessa Ryan of North Bend, who attended online. Columbia College, founded in 1851, is a private, nonprofit institution known for its small classes, experienced faculty, and quality educational programs. It has 25 locations across the country, with about half on military installations, and is accredited by the Higher Learning Commission. The college has over 97,000 alumni worldwide. Here are some of the pre-filed bills geared toward public safety. Yahoo! At least 10 gun-related bills have been pre-filed in New Mexico. Democrats are proposing bills to ban assault weapons, extend the waiting period to buy a gun, and raise the minimum age to buy and possess one. Republicans, on the other hand, have filed bills to purchase guns without a background check and carry them without a permit. Healthcare for the homeless and the American Civil Liberties Union are calling for more investments in treatment and diversion from jail cells. There is a bill to ban firearms near polling locations and associated activities. Another bill would impose community service, a restrictive curfew, treatment, or other non-detention sanctions for a technical parole or probation violation. There is also a bill to create a tax credit for gun storage. The bill would allow the buyer to apply for a one-time credit in the amount of the purchase, not to exceed $750. The bill would set aside $500,000 for the tax credits every year. Another bill would not allow state funding or Medicaid reimbursement to go toward any treatment facility or program that restricts the use of medication-assisted treatment, or MAT, for juveniles in their care. There is a bill to increase the penalty for attempted murder and second-degree murder. Another bill would require those caught with a gun while selling drugs to be charged with a third-degree felony. Finally, there is a bill that would put the onus on the defense to prove a person accused, or previously convicted, of a violent crime isn't a danger to the community and can be released before trial. That's it for today's news. Let's take a moment to recap what we've learned. In Australia, regular sunscreen use could reduce the burden of melanoma by up to 34% by 2031. So remember, slap on that sunscreen. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has withdrawn from the 2024 Republican presidential nomination race, citing no clear path to victory against frontrunner Donald Trump. Looks like Trump's popularity and name recognition just couldn't be beat. China is moving up the rare earth value chain, importing upstream products from Western countries and exporting value-added products back to those countries. The West is trying to catch up, developing their own supply chains to reduce reliance on China. Tara Vanderveer, the head coach for Stanford University's women's basketball team, has become college basketball's winningest coach ever. Congrats, Tara! Woolworths, Australia's largest retailer, has sparked a national debate by refusing to stock Australia Day paraphernalia. Companies' stances on social issues are diverging from those of political parties. Former Education Secretary Baroness Morgan has called for a new curriculum in English schools to teach young people character development opportunities to prepare them for the challenges of the future job market, including AI. We also heard from a 24-year-old working in the luxury tour operator industry in London who spends her money on food and drinks, frames for prints, and treating her family and friends. Londoners have the lowest take-home pay in the UK after paying rent, while workers in Middlesbrough spend only 1/5 of their monthly pay on rent. Looks like Middlesbrough is the place to be for more disposable income. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is attending the inauguration of the Ram Mandir Shrine in Ayodhya, a Hindu temple being built on a site that was once a flashpoint of Hindu-Muslim conflict. This could give him a strong tailwind ahead of the elections. Ohio is trying to find ways to keep its college graduates from leaving the state after graduation. Financial incentives and high-quality training are among the measures being considered. Cameroon is set to become the first African country to routinely administer a new malaria vaccine to children. The vaccine aims to help curb the spread of the disease, which accounts for 95% of the world's malaria deaths. Billions of cicadas are set to emerge in the US in a rare breeding event, with trillions expected to emerge in 2024. Get ready for some noisy days ahead. And finally, Columbia College has released its dean's list for the fall 2023 semester, and at least 10 gun-related bills have been pre-filed in New Mexico. That's all the news for today. Now it's your turn to join the discussion. What are your thoughts on these news stories? Do you have any questions for me? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.